this game in Oakland, because let's look at it from Oakland's perspective. This is the season. This is it. We can't go 0-4. If we go 0-4, it's done. And we can't lose at home to a rookie quarterback with a new coach and all these new toys. So I look at it from the perspective of the noise, and it pertains to Baker. Imagine you're a Raiders fan, and you're a season ticket holder, and you have been for years, and you like to paint your face like Darth Maul and put on the spiked shoulder pads over your Todd Christensen jersey and your Morning Star and go to the game and heckle those visiting quarterbacks.
Right.
Can you think of a riper fruit to pick to heckle than Baker Mayfield, a rookie, a hotshot, starting his first game in your building in the black hole? Those people are going to be lit, and Baker Mayfield's going to have to stand up to it. We're going to see what he is made of. Coming to beat the Jets is awesome. I don't discredit it at all. On the road, first start, black hole, Morning Star is getting waved. Huge, huge atmosphere.
How much credit do you give a rookie quarterback for taking down a Super Bowl contender?
A lot.
So I'm going to go with Josh Allen here as my most intriguing storyline. The face of the guy behind one of the biggest upsets in NFL history. He took an $84 million quarterback's team to the cleaners, and now he gets to go to Lambeau and face the highest paid player in NFL history on his home turf. Can he do it? I don't know. I know that he did hit 8 different wide receivers, guys, in this win over the Vikings. He leads the Bills in rushing. He is a top 5 quarterback in terms of rushing, and he might get LaShawn McCoy back this week. So it's not pretty. You're talking Baker Mayfield? Yeah. Baker Mayfield's pretty. Like, it's a pretty game. When you're watching Josh Allen, it's not as pretty, but he can throw. We've known that forever. He can certainly run, and he can hurdle like the best of them. Yeah. He's got this Cam Newton sort of thing going on, where he's running and he rushed him for 2 scores. He's got an arm. He's got this crazy talent. So, I don't know. At Lambeau, fireworks.
How about the scheduling gods? They put him at Minnesota week 3, at Lambeau week 4, and the Bills can come out with 2 wins there. If he does that, it's one of the great rookie starts to a career we've ever seen.
You never know what you're going to see in week 4, which kicks off tonight with 2 NFC powers colliding. It's Kirk Cousins and those Vikings taking on Todd Gurley and the Rams. Vikings-Rams, when it's on.
It's on!
You can't take a sip of it.
No, I blew it. I don't know my cue.
Thursday Night Football, it is tonight at 8 on NFL Network. You can peep it on Fox, and it's streaming on Prime Video. All right, time for this morning's wake-up call presented by Verizon. Let's bring in our Thursday guy, Omar Ruiz, joining us. And I bet you are. If you don't look tired, you're smiling, which is wild to me. But let's talk about the Vikings and their receiving core. Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, they're both averaging over 10 yards a catch this season. What are their counterparts on the Rams saying about them in this matchup?
Well, how good has that Rams 3-headed monster been of Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp? A combined 53 catches, 744 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I asked Cooper Kupp about that receiver comparison. He said they're not really into receiving their receiving core with others around the league. They have their own standard, and a part of that standard is playing for each other. He said he's never seen or been a part of a receiving core that has had as much selflessness as this one has had. Brandon Cooks is the new receiver to the group. He's fit right in, elevating everyone else around him. I asked Kupp if there's such a thing as chemistry with receivers, since they tend to operate independently of each other on the field. He said, yeah, there is, not only with how they play on the field, but how they communicate with each other in between plays, in between possessions. Asked Robert Woods about this opportunity on Thursday Night Football to elevate their profile, and he said, look, it's a little natural to want to get a little recognition, develop a reputation, but he said winning will take care of that. The Rams look to continue their winning ways in what is a renewed rivalry with the Rams and Vikings. We're here in the famed Coliseum Tunnel where both teams walk down onto the field. You can see some of the Rams' history there in that mural. This was once one of the great rivalries of the 70s. Vikings and Rams actually met twice in the NFC Championship game in that decade. In fact, from the 1969 season through the 1982 season, either the Cowboys, the Vikings, or the Rams were all represented in the NFC Championship game. We've been talking about this game, perhaps a preview of this year's NFC Championship game. Should be a good one tonight.
Omar bringing the history and the facts while doing a walk and talk. You've truly outdone yourself today.
Yeah, spin it around. I've had my cup of coffee. I had to pre-make it. I had to pre-make it last night because obviously here at 3:30 in the morning West Coast time, no coffee shops open at this hour. But we're all caffeinated and jacked up, ready to go all morning long.
You nuked it in the microwave? What did you do with it?
Well, it was just pre-made. I just had to turn it on. So Ashley, my wife, kind of ground up the beans. It was all set in the coffee maker. Just turned it on, and it was ready to rock.
Veteran move. Omar Ruiz will talk to you throughout the day. The Rams trying to keep it going. The Vikings trying to get off the mat and bounce back after that loss to the Buffalo Bills in Week 3. Guys, kickoff a few hours away. So let's fast forward a little bit further. After the game, you've got copy editors in the newsroom trying to come up with the best headlines that will be read by everyone on Friday morning. What will those headlines say after Thursday Night Football? Vikings, Rams.
All right, I'll jump in. I love movies from the 90s, especially the crazy ones that were a little off the grid.
Step into my office.
So I'm going to go with the best running back in football, and I feel like because he's going to have himself a great game, he's going to be basically unstoppable out there. Tank Gurley. That's going to be my headline.
Okay,
right there.
Lori Petty, Tank Girl. I got you, man. I got you. No problem.
Yeah.
Tank Girl all day.
That's exactly what I'm going with. I'm going with Tank Gurley because he's going to do it on the ground, he's going to do it in the air, and he might have a couple trick plays in there. We'll talk about that a little later on in the show.
Good. It's funny. Last week, the Rams beat the Chargers, and it was hyped as the battle for L.A. Truth is, Rams-Chargers is not the battle. It's Rams versus Lakers right now because I'm looking at these L.A. papers and the L.A. media. It's all about LeBron. They had their local media day, and LeBron is talking about JaVale McGee and what's the name? The whispering guy. Lance Stevenson blowing in his ear.
Rajon Rondo, too?
Rajon Rondo.
What is he doing
Lakers
there?
are big story. We get it. Wait till tonight. The Rams are going to put their stamp on the city and say, hold off.
Okay.
My headline. Step back, LeBron, and not for a 30-foot jumper. I'm talking step back because we're the biggest show in town. I think the Rams put on an offensive festival of points tonight, and I think they go all out, and no one is talking about LeBron tomorrow and his wonderful film career and whatever else he's got going on.
Space Jam 2?
All of that stuff is off the court and all stuff off the field. It's about the Rams. Step back, LeBron. We're here. We're the biggest show.
They're going to have to have a big game because if they don't have their two corners out there, we know Aqib Talib is out. He can return later on in the season, but Peters we still have not had an official word on. So my thing is going to be about Stephon Diggs. He had Tre'Davious White shut him down last week against the Bills, but I'm going to say that was maybe a little bit more of an anomaly when this team gets going. Stephon Diggs, we know what a talent he is and the connection he's had with Kirk Cousins. So mine is, in the words of Juno, whoa, Dream Diggs.
Nice.
Like wrote Dream Big. I mean, he scored touchdowns in 6 of his last 7 games. This is a guy who I think is going to be good. The Rams have done a really good job of taking care of slot receivers and taking them out of the game. I'm a little weirdly more worried about Thielen, who has more targets than him, than Diggs on the outside.
Whoa, diggity. Right?
No doubt.
All right, so that brings me to mind. I always do these 90s music style. I've pledged to do that for this season. So for this one, we're going to go to the year 1993, where there was a jam band out of right here in New York City who gave us 2 bangers, and one of them will constitute my headline for tonight. The defense is what excites me about the Rams. Peter wants offense, and I get it. The defense is going to be the difference maker, but with those 2 corners banged up, I'm looking at the big guys in the middle. And no matter how you look at that defense, it's tough to spin how you could possibly beat it, even if you had a doctorate in spinning. So I would say my headline is going to be Donald and Sue Princes, based on 2 princes. Do you see me working here? From the Spin Doctors. Peter, if you're looking for Space Jam, I submit to you the real Monstars in LA, and it is the big dudes down. I don't feel like they've had the Sue and Donald game yet, you know what I'm saying? And I think that game is coming, whether it's sacks, whether it's stuffing the Vikings running backs. Those guys need to step their game up just like Wade does with the corners banged up. Sue Princes.
Just go ahead now.
Go ahead now, Kate.
Go
That's what
ahead
I'm
now.
talking about. Little Miss can't be wrong over here.
That's right. Brady struggled last Sunday night in Detroit. They lost. How crazy is that? It didn't really happen, but can he turn it around for week 4? We'll tell you how Tom can make things happen. Coming right up. Plus, he'll get his first NFL start against the Raiders. How is John Gruden game planning against Baker Mayfield? How do you think this is going to go?
I'm just so caught up in this Imagine Dragons, Kay. My imagination's running wild.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they say, right?
Good morning.